All right, what is going on, guys? So as promised, we're going to have our flight footage here during daytime. Weather conditions are about 8 to 10 miles per hour as far as the wind, so it's a little bit windy. And I do want to start out this video by stating that the interference and the breakup that you see on my DVR recording isn't what I actually see in real time on my goggles. I'm kind of using my daily driver Fatshark Echo goggles, so the DVR function isn't as great. You'll see here shortly when I get behind my house, you'll see a lot more of that breakup for a few seconds. It's also worth noting that the tune that came on this quad and the ESC settings that were put on this quad prior to me receiving it were set in a way to really maximize efficiency and flight time. So with that said, there's a lot of expo on all axes and just kind of wonky settings. After some collaborating with other Reddit users, I've finally got the PID tuning and the ESC settings in a way where it's a lot more enjoyable to fly. But that's something, if you are considering this quad, to really consider. Also want to start by saying that I swapped out the BI camera that they initially had. Frankly, it's just lackluster. It kind of lacked in all areas with video clarity. This seemed overly saturated. But, you know, I understand why they have to do that. They have to find that happy medium between acceptable profit margins and also being accessible to most users and most, you know, consumers. So with that said, a more expensive and higher quality camera would probably result in a higher price point. But we're going to go into our nighttime flight footage here in a second. Okay, here we are. It's about 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, pretty much nighttime, a little bit of light, but I just want to say how much I love this Caddx baby Ratel 2. I've been a huge fan of it ever since I started FPV just a few years ago. It really boasts really good low visibility clarity, great sharpness, great overall clarity in my opinion. And you know, to me, in my opinion, this is probably the best camera that you can get for this platform, you know, with the micros and the whoops, so on and so forth. Let's see what else here. So just doing some light cruising here, trying to get a feel for my new PID tune, which, like I said, I like it a lot more. It really enhances the flight experience and all of it on this entire quad. The quad itself does boast reverse polarity protection. A few years ago, Dave CU FPV kind of became the pioneer in the 18651S quote-unquote nano long range. And with that, you kind of had the Recon 3 by ELRS, which was a great quad, but I fried two of them because I was being complacent and, you know, fried the board by plugging in the 18650 backwards. So it's highly appreciated that they have that feature on this. It boasts up to 800 milliwatts in output power for the VTX. I mean, NewBeeDrone, before this quad hit the market, they boasted 11 kilometers in flight distance in one of their videos. So I do recommend you guys check that out. But yeah, I think this quad is going to really target the market where, you know, you're in a densely populated area. You don't want to have to worry about those FPV Karens that complain about, you know, the loud noises. This is something that's really quiet and efficient, even with the tri-blades on it. It's also going to be for those individuals where they kind of want to dabble into the long range kind of game. But overall, I'm super happy about it. It's also worth noting that a lot of the parts and connectors are kind of proprietary. So instead of a standard UFL connector, you have a different kind of connector for the ELRS antenna, and even the camera plug to the FC is not your standard JST. So something to consider. Out of the box, you're going to get everything that you need, but if you plan on doing upgrades or making some swaps, it's something you might want to consider in the future. Overall, super happy with it, especially now that I've got this tune where it's kind of dialed in. I would say about 75–85% of the way. Still going to do some further testing and talking to the guys over at NewBeeDrone, but I do highly recommend this quad. If you're kind of into this niche kind of a FPV category or market with the 1S nano long ranges, can't say much about it. Besides that, super happy, would recommend, guys. Next time I'll be doing a flight footage for the GPS rescue. Have a good one.